Imagine a country famous for its rich history and power, now facing tough economic times. How did Spain, once a leader in wealth and power, come to struggle so much? Let's uncover Spain's story. Hello and welcome to today's episode. In this video, we're going to explore the amazing story of Spain. You might know Spain for its colorful festivals, stunning art, and delicious food. But did you know Spain has also faced some really big challenges? Over the years, Spain has seen times of incredible wealth and power as well as periods of difficulty. Today's journey is about more than just history. It's about seeing how the ups and downs of the past affect everyday life in Spain and even around the world. We'll take a closer look at how Spain became one of the most influential countries in the world, and then how it came across hard economic times. So stay tuned as we break down these big ideas into easy-to-understand stories, showing what all this history means for people today. Setting the stage, Spain today. First things first, let's picture Spain not just as the land of colorful festivals and stunning views, but as a place with a rich, complex past that has led to today's economic scene. Right now, Spain is at a critical moment, dealing with tough economic challenges. These challenges aren't just local issues. They ripple out, affecting all of Europe and even the wider world. So as we explore Spain's history, remember that it helps us understand not just Spain, but also how one country's economy can impact the globe. The Golden Age, Spain's era of wealth, 16th and 17th centuries. Now let's travel back in time to the 16th and 17th century during Spain's Golden Age. This was a time when Spain was buzzing with activity, wealth pouring in from its colonies in the Americas. Imagine ships arriving loaded with vast amounts of gold and silver, wealth that changed everything about Spain's economy. But the Golden Age wasn't just about money, it was also a time of brilliant cultural achievements. Spain was alive with new ideas and magnificent art. Painters like Velázquez were painting masterpieces, and writers like Cervantes were penning works like Don Quixote, which are still celebrated around the world today. This period wasn't just a chapter of richness and art. It shaped the very soul of Spain, leaving a legacy that we still see and feel today. The decline begins 17th and 18th centuries. As we move into the 17th and 18th century, things start to change dramatically for Spain. It was during this time that the country faced major setbacks, beginning with the War of the Spanish Succession. This conflict, along with the Treaty of Utrecht, signaled big trouble. Spain had to give up several key areas it once controlled, which meant losing a lot of its power and wealth that came from these places. The money that had once flowed so freely from its colonies started to become much less. This wasn't just a rough patch. It marked the beginning of a long and steady decline in Spain's standing as a global powerhouse. The loss of these territories and the dwindling colonial wealth were clear signs that the golden times were over and tough times were ahead. Industrialization and political challenges. 19th century, fast forward to the 19th century, and we see Spain facing a new set of hurdles. This was a time when many European countries were rapidly changing thanks to industrialization. New machines and factories were popping up, transforming places like Britain and Germany into economic giants. But Spain was falling behind. It wasn't because the Spanish didn't have the drive or the skills. It was largely due to political chaos and ongoing internal conflicts, like the Carlist Wars, that shook the nation. Then came the Spanish-American War in 1898, a devastating blow. Spain lost its last major colonies, including Cuba and the Philippines. This was not just a loss of land, but a huge hit to Spain's status and economic strength. The loss of these colonies was like losing the last pieces of a once glorious empire, leading to a significant drop in Spain's place on the world stage. Turmoil and transition, the 20th century. When we hit the 20th century, Spain's story takes on even more twists and turns. One of the darkest periods was the Spanish Civil War, which lasted from 1936 to 1939. This wasn't just any war. It was a brutal conflict that split the country in half, with people fighting over deeply held beliefs about how Spain should be run. The war caused enormous damage across Spain and left deep scars on its society and economy. After the war ended, General Franco took over and ruled Spain with a tight grip. His regime isolated Spain from the rest of the world economically and culturally, and he tried to stamp out any local traditions or languages that he felt threatened his control. This suppression didn't just stifle Spain's cultural life. It also held back its economic development, leaving the country poorer and less developed than many of its European neighbors. A new era begins post-Franco Spain. The story starts to change again after Franco died in 1975. Spain began to move towards democracy, opening up a whole new chapter in its history. But this shift wasn't easy. As Spain was trying to find its feet in this new democratic era, the world was also changing rapidly. The financial crisis of 2008 was a huge test for Spain's new government. The crisis hit the global economy hard, but Spain felt the impact especially deeply. Banks failed, businesses closed, and jobs disappeared, leading to massive unemployment and skyrocketing public debt. It was a tough time for everyone, but it also showed just how connected Spain's economy was to the rest of the world and how events happening on the other side of the globe could have a direct impact on Spaniards' daily lives. Signs of recovery and future challenges today. Let's focus on some positive news. Spain is starting to see a glimmer of hope after some really tough years. The country has been making steady progress, with more people finding jobs and the economy beginning to grow again. These are good signs showing that things are moving in the right direction. But just like in any good story, there's always a bit of suspense. The road ahead for Spain is still full of uncertainty. The big question is, can Spain keep improving and overcome the new challenges that come its way? A lot depends on how well Spain can learn from its history. The lessons from past economic troubles and successes can guide today's leaders and citizens to make smarter choices. Also, Spain will need to handle not just its own issues, but also those that affect the entire world, like changes in global markets or new health crises. As we look to the future, it's clear that Spain's journey isn't just about recovering from economic lows. It's about building a stronger and more resilient country. How Spain tackles these future challenges will be really important, not just for Spaniards, but for the whole world watching and interacting with Spain. Conclusion: Spain's economic story is truly like a roller coaster ride, filled with exciting highs and challenging lows. Think of it as a big, colorful quilt made of different pieces, some bright with success, like the dazzling golden age, and others darker with struggles, like the recent economic crises. This journey through time shows us how Spain has continually adapted and shown incredible resilience, bouncing back time and again. Thank you so much for joining us today. If this peek into Spain's past and present has sparked your curiosity and you'd like to dive deeper, please be sure to smash that like and hit the subscribe button to keep us going. See you in the next video, where we'll uncover more fascinating stories from around the world.